Hello and welcome, especially to all you nonprofit leaders out there. Today, we are going to tackle a topic that is just, well, it's completely reshaping how we work: artificial intelligence. We're going to build your practical, step by step guide to using AI responsibly so you can innovate with total confidence. So let's get right to the heart of it with this one big question. AI has this incredible promise, right? It can help us analyze feedback, supercharge our grant rating, and boost our impact. But, and this is a big but, it also opens up a kind of Pandora's box of data privacy risks that could really damage the trust you've worked so hard to build.
We've set this explainer up like a hands-on workshop, really, to give you a super clear roadmap. We'll start with the promise and, yes, the peril of AI. Then we'll navigate the privacy landscape. After that, we're going to arm you with a 6-point safety toolkit, talk about why transparency is everything, and then wrap up with an action plan you can literally start on today.
All right, first things first, let's get the lay of the land. Now, you don't need to go out and get a law degree, but you absolutely have to know the main privacy laws that affect your work, especially now that AI is in the mix. Okay, so what's really fascinating here is how these two big laws are kind of setting the standard for the whole world. You've got GDPR over in Europe, which says using AI is data processing, and that means you have to get explicit consent first. Meanwhile, California's CCPA sees it a bit differently. It treats sharing data with an AI vendor as a potential sale if the vendor gets any benefit, which means you have to give people a really clear way to opt out. So here's the bottom line, the crucial point. With all these different state laws popping up, the safest, simplest thing you can do is just aim for the highest standard of privacy. And for most of us in the nonprofit world, that means following rules that look a lot like the GDPR.
Okay, let's get to the toolkit. This is where we go from theory to an actual actionable strategy that you can use to protect your organization and, most importantly, your community. We're going to walk through 6 essential best practices. I want you to think of these as the fundamental pillars of your nonprofit's AI data safety policy. So here it is. This is basically your entire safety framework. See how it flows? It starts with checking out your partners, then moves to managing your own data responsibly, and it ends with keeping good records. Let's break down each one. First step, your vendors. When you're looking at a new AI tool, if you see any of these red flags, it's a huge signal to be very, very careful. You especially don't want a vendor using your community's sensitive data to train their own AI models without you even knowing about it. Now this slide, this is critical. It shows you a really simple way to sort your data. For category 1, we're talking highly sensitive stuff like health info or social security numbers. The rule is incredibly simple. Just don't. Don't put it into any external AI tool ever. For sensitive donor info, you'll want to stick to enterprise-grade tools that take security seriously. Next is data minimization. And this idea is so simple but so powerful. Think about it. If you're using AI to help draft a thank you letter, all it really needs is the donor's name and maybe the gift amount. It does not need their entire giving history, their address, and their phone number. Only send what is absolutely necessary for the task. Okay, the difference here is really key. Anonymization completely breaks the link to a person, so it's not even personal data anymore. Pseudonymization, though, is a little different. It just replaces names and things with a code, like donor_001. The AI has no idea who that is, but you still do. It makes it a much, much safer way to process sensitive data. I want you to think of a DPA like a legally binding contract that's all about protecting your data. It spells out exactly what a vendor can and, more importantly, cannot do with it. Most reputable AI tools will have a DPA ready to go. If a vendor won't sign one, well, that's your sign to walk away before you send them anything sensitive. End of story. So now that we've got the technical toolkit locked down, let's shift our focus to what this is really all about: the people you serve. Building and keeping their trust is and always will be number 1. The source material gives us this fantastic template language for a privacy policy. Just look how clear and direct that is. It says what you do, what you don't do, and how people can stay in control of their own information. This is exactly how you build confidence with your community. And please remember, the rules get even stricter for certain groups. If you handle any kind of health data, you are legally required, you must use HIPAA-compliant tools. And when you're working with minors or other vulnerable populations, you have to assume the absolute highest level of privacy protection applies. Always, always err on the side of caution. Okay, let's bring it all together.
This is your practical checklist. This is how you go from just watching this explainer to actually putting a responsible AI policy into practice at your organization.
This checklist right here, this is your immediate to-do list. Start by updating your privacy policy. Then, categorize your data. Train your staff. If you just start tackling these items one by one, you will be on a clear, safe path to using AI responsibly. And we'll end with this final thought. Your AI policy isn't just some legal document you file away. It's a promise. It's a promise you're making to your community. This whole thing isn't just about compliance. It's about protecting the people who are at the very heart of your mission. Thank you for joining me for this explainer.